Hi, Shannon here, and I'm about to talk to Ed Imogen. Oh, hey guys.
Is it working?
Anything?
Yeah, yep, I can hear you guys loud and clear.
Boom. Yeah. Hi, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. It's been a long weekend, but just getting started.
Spring break was really good for you guys?
Yeah, I went home to LA and Ed went home to New Jersey, and we're on the very end of our senior year now, though. So there's like a month left of school. So it's mad thesis time for me and crazy capstone performance time for Ed. He's doing Macbeth alongside Evie, who was Nancy, who's playing Lady Macbeth, and Ed, you'll meet as Dionysus, who's also playing Macbeth.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it's busy right now. What have you been up to?
Just started a new job last week.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm dealing in real estate and a lot of financial stuff.
Super cool.
Skill sets I don't have, so good for you. That's awesome.
No, yeah, it's going good right now, but most of the time I'm just like I want to get back into freelance photography.
Nice. Oh, yeah.
No, I was doing that for a while at Life Touch.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I know Life Touch.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, they teach you how to pose and everything.
Would you ever like take photos of weddings or things like that, or are you more into
I would.
Yeah?
If I had a ritzier more camera.
Yes, equipment is always an issue.
Yeah, it's just like, they really like it if you're like a videographer as well for the weddings. That's becoming a trend. My big brother does that. He did that for a couple of weddings already.
Oh, cool. Good for him.
No, yeah, that's really good for him.
My wedding. I feel like that'd be weird.
A lot of people do.
I know it's popular. But
there's money in it, but I understand where you're coming from.
But I would feel like everybody would have to like fake happiness to talk to the camera. I don't know. No. I have weird thoughts about weddings. I was a caterer at a wedding for almost 6 years, so I got very sick of weddings. Yeah. Huh. Yeah.
No, I mostly just bridesmaid and flower girl once upon a time ago.
Yeah. I never
flower girl high. Yeah. But yeah, so I see that you guys are gonna have like this new web series coming out in less than a few weeks.
Oh, yes. Yep. Yes, we are.
It's about 16 days away. Yeah, 16 days away. Oh, I just dropped a pencil because I'm terrified. It's going to be great. Well, we think it's going to be great. We've been working pretty much nonstop to get post-production done.
Yeah, post is definitely the craziest. So it's called Pantheon University. It's a 13-episode web series about the Greek gods of college. They're Greek gods who were dumped into college. I can speak. It's a lot of fun because every episode focuses on one character, but the storylines all connect together. So it's actually released in a dump on the Monday, April 18th. So you can watch any episode you want in whatever order you want and get a sense for all these characters at this university.
Yeah, fun. That's just like surreal and everything, and it's a different approach from what you've done with your last two series as well.
Yeah, it's huge because we've changed it up completely. It's not an original story or a straight adaptation like Jules and Monty or Wavejack were, and not one visual style either. Every episode has its own visual style. So like Dionysus, which is the one I directed, it's a musical. Or there's Hercules, which is a choose your own adventure, and you have to click on different links to find different videos, so you get to choose your own path.
That's cool.
Apollo, which is styled like a vlog. There's Poseidon, which is styled like The Office. Everyone has its own way of telling a story. And another thing that we tried with this one is that every episode has a different director. So, yeah, and a different DOP. So we tried to get a different feel for every character. Every episode's a character study. You follow one of the gods, and they have their own storytelling style. And
just like how they end up seeing things.
Yeah,
exactly. So we wanted to make it as different and as disparate as possible between the gods and the episodes.
Yeah, but there's one episode that's the finale. So you could watch them in whatever order. We'll have a suggested order. The first one being Zeus, and the last one being the finale. And the finale is the only one that has multiple perspectives in the storytelling. It has kind of more of an omniscient narrator. Zeus, on the other hand, is a one shot. So it's kind of the entire movie that takes place in Zeus's episode, and then you come back to it in every episode following it. So there's different. Yeah.
No, that sounds like a treat. That was the thing I remember as a little kid. I was always fascinated by the Greek myths and Egyptian history and everything too. Just like how it's so like complex and everything. Like they had to like come up with so many explanations. Like why does it rain? And why is it sunny? And why is it like certain like we react to certain things here on Earth? They had a story for that. Every one.
Yeah,
relating to these gods.
There are so many different interpretations that this in itself is a completely different interpretation too. Like I know there's been other series that have tackled Greek mythology, but the cool thing about it is there are so many stories that it's very hard to repeat any story or to tell them in the same way. Our takes on Apollo, for instance, is probably completely different than anybody else's. Made Apollo a woman and made him more vindictive than shiny.
You know, the sun can shine, it can also burn.
The sun can burn, can for sure burn.
So we took it in that direction. We also made Hades a woman, and she's played by the lovely Evie Reedy, bringing back Nancy.
Evie. Yeah, I'm picturing it right now.
Right? Like sunny, beautiful Nancy, dark and gloomy Hades. It's such a cool transformation. And the neat part is, you know, if you've watched Jules and Monty and Wavejacked and High Spirits, which is another YouTube web series that came out earlier this year, or I guess earlier last year, right?
And it was September of
2015.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, so you'll see a lot of faces that you recognize, but also you'll see people that you've never seen before, which is really cool because it's like, where do we keep getting all of these friends from? And we just pulled everyone we know and like into this project. So I think it's cool how many people got involved and how many people we like got involved.
Between the cast and the crew and even people who just were on set for a couple hours, we had over 60 students working on this series.
The cast alone is 49.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's a little insane.
Yeah.
No, that's the neat thing about all of your web series. It's just like such a close-knit group of all these friends just wanting to like make something like awesome and have like a good time doing it.
Yeah. And hopefully you'll see some of that in the vlogs, which will return.
Yep.
Plenty of that.
Oh yeah, we couldn't not do a vlog.
Ed couldn't not do vlogs.
I do the vlogs as much for myself as anyone else. They're my like dirty little way of remembering what I did in college forever. So
that is a nice way. Like it's a little easier. Like when we end up like we connect with something visual, like whether a painting or a video, it just like sticks to us in more ways than one. So I understand that, and plus the vlogs are pretty funny.
I'm glad you like it. So. See, that's the nice thing. I'm glad other people like it too, because that's, you know, I watch them even now and I'm like, oh my God, like I remember what I was doing that day 2 years ago, but I can't wait from 10 years from now when I get to look at it. It's like, oh my God, I was so young and now I'm old.
Watching Jules and Monty vlogs is completely surreal.
It's very weird because also, you know, at that time we were just becoming friends with these people. We didn't really even know Ben or Emma or Claire, and we were just getting to know them. And now it's like I can't imagine my college career without these people.
Yeah.
No,
so it's cool to see like flashbacks from your own life just there.
Yeah.
No, that's how I feel with a lot of stuff that I've done in the last couple of years. Since I graduated college a few years ago. I think it'll be 3.5 years ago. So.
Wow, good for you.
No, yeah. So I end up like looking at a lot of my old photographs because I've been taking practically photographs at every event since I was 14, and just like seeing so many of the faces I still I connect with and everything. Just like I remember like my mindset at that time.
Yep, that'll do it.
It was right now.
Yeah.
I think doing it in a visual medium like photography or film makes a world of difference. Like you can read things, you can read journal entries, and that takes you back in a very different way. But I think it's very visceral to see it and to remember.
That's exactly the word I was going to use.
Visceral?
Yeah. Visceral.
Yeah, I like that word. I've been using it a lot lately.
Visceral also connects to visual.
Yeah, but I like to think that you could be impressed with me for like a moment.
I'm going to have to use that next week. First of all.
Yeah.
So, I do have a few questions for you guys.
Hit us.
All right. First question I have on here, which is relating to your new show. What inspired you to focus on the Greek myths?
It's a good question. we were out to dinner with a bunch of friends of ours who like to make fun of us for the web series that we write, because it's just kind of a joke amongst
our writing fun, group. But like, you rule the internet. No, we don't.
No, we don't. But there was this great sidetrack story. They made a Cards Against Humanity type of game for one of their friends, and one of the black cards was what's Ed Imogen's next web series.
Very demented results.
Oh, really scary
results. Pretty funny.
But we were out to dinner with some friends, and we were chatting, and just kind of started talking about stories that we gravitate towards, and like archetypes that you find in college all the time. And somehow, I don't even remember now, that gravitated towards Greek mythology. And actually, one of the thoughts someone said was, "Oh, can you imagine? Ares is definitely on the football team, and like
Zeus is a frat president.
Frat president.
Actually, Ares was ROTC.
ROTC
in the first iteration of it, and we were like, "Oh man, they all fit so well."
Yeah.
And at the same time, we were just finishing up Wavejack's post production, and Imogen and I were trying to think of an idea.
This was before even post. We just
was
finished,
it? I guess it was. Yeah, but we were still, when we wrote Wavejack, we were still shooting Jules and Monty. So we had an idea and we knew what we were working on. We were, coming to the end of production on Wavejack. We had no idea what we wanted to do. And we knew we wanted to do one more because we didn't want to just, let this year go.
Trilogy.
Yeah, exactly. And we were trying to think of something and anything. And then like a couple weeks after that dinner, we were like, wait, that could work though.
Yeah.
Like, what if we did that though? Because we'd had a couple of ideas. Like, what if there was a web series where every episode was a different genre?
Yeah.
What if we did like a mockumentary sort of thing? Or like, and then we were like, well, if we do it like this, all of those ideas can happen. We can do all of these things.
I think as writers too, we wanted to push ourselves to try different things, because when we did Jules and Monty, it was our first attempt, and it was definitely like a more direct adaptation. Part of it came out of a desire to make Shakespeare approachable, and to tell the story in a modern setting, because I think people kind of write off Romeo and Juliet as melodramatic and outdated. So that was kind of our first attempt. And the second one was, we want to do something original. Like, now we can like cut our wings loose from Shakespeare and fly a little. And this time we wanted something in between. We mostly wanted to play with form rather than narrative. Like, we wanted to play around with how you write different genres, and I personally love anthology series as a viewer, so I wanted to find something that was close to an anthology series but still had a through line, and that's kind of what we came up with.
Some of the episodes are straight adaptations of myths, and some of them are completely original takes. So
just the character. It's mostly the big thing to keep in mind when you're watching them is that they're not direct lifts of these characters. They're more playing with the archetype of who these people are. Like, you think of Zeus, you think of the king of the gods. Cheats all the time, pansexual, larger than life.
But it's also sort of, how does college affect somebody?
Yeah.
Because Apollo was this bright, sunny person in high school and got to college and it didn't work out and became this like gloomy, sulky person. And that's not who Apollo is, but we just took a very different spin on it because we wanted to play with it.
Yeah, so playing with archetypes kind of became the name of the game, because in college I think you do meet people who end up being more archetypical than they'd like to be. Like, I on occasion have been very English.
I didn't want to say it. So
glad I said it. Yeah, so it kind of fit naturally. The gods are immature enough anyway that they fit really nicely in college setting, which we always write for what we know and write for the set we're in.
The drinking, What? It's just like all the things that the gods do, all the vices they indulge in. College. Like, it's bacchanal every day. And that's why Dionysus thrives. It's perfect. So naturally we set it at a party, because where else would the gods be? And then every episode finds its way back to that party.
Yeah. So that's a long way of answering the question.
Yeah, it's basically we could do everything we wanted to.
No, hey, it sounds very fun and everything. Like, and I always envision, like, I think my English professor put it this one way, like it was like one huge party for everybody. Like, mortals were just like toys to be reckoned with and just like have a certain way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a way in which that mentality has somewhat barged its way in the college settings, as you think of like the horrible stereotypes of like undergraduates using one another, or like not really paying attention to each other's emotions, whatever it is. And it's funny because some gods you get to see kind of grow, like Hera and Zeus you spend a lot of time with, but others, and Ares and Ares and Aphrodite you spend a lot of time with, but others you kind of just get snapshots of who these people are, and you kind of have to wonder why they are the way they are.
Like Katie's Dionysus and Hephaestus kind of all have one-offs, but they still tie into a larger story, and you can see where those gods sort of fit in.
Yeah.
No. Wow.
Yeah, and then we put Hercules in there because
Hercules is fun.
he wants to become a god. He's working on. He's a pledge, so he's working on becoming a brother.
Pledge and who's becoming one of the gods.
Yep. See, so.
I was still like that actually reminded me of one other thing I was going to ask you. Like, did you know what really happened with Hercules before you saw the Disney movie?
Oh, yeah. The 12 labors.
Well, no, the aftermath of the 12 labors, but the less happy ending. Is that what you're talking about?
No, yeah, I just remember I was shocked. No, my brother like spoiled it for me, like what happened to actual like the myth Hercules after I saw the movie for the first time, and I'm like, no.
Same thing with Bellerophon. It's like, oh man, you get Pegasus, and then you drop your wife off of the flying horse, and then you die.
It's
So
scared of flying.
There are all these cool myths, but they're actually sometimes just kind of jerks.
Yeah, we did a lot of reading and research before. It's funny how much of that is mostly just used for one-off jokes or references that make it more intertextual, because the rest of it's pretty much reliant upon the narrative we were weaving and the characters we chose to portray. They're not a direct adaptation in any way.
No, but you know, there's a lot of stuff thrown around with Zeus and Ganymede. There's a lot of stuff thrown around with Prometheus, Sisyphus. One of my favorite jokes is about Dionysus threatening to rip Pentheus's arms off if he doesn't do something right in a play, which is a very long-winded reference to the Bacchae, but Oedipus shows up for a little bit, and people make fun of him. So I bet you can guess why. It's a lot of fun to like poke fun at like, hey, remember this? Remember that story? We do too. Okay.
Yeah, all those Greek myths. You realize like, geez, the gods are messed up.
The gods are a mess. They are a hot mess.
Yeah. It'd be so dramatic on sometimes. You'd be like, this is ridiculous. We're so dramatic, but that's kind of part of it.
Soap opera.
Yeah. It is a big soap opera.
I do have another question related to that. What was the first Greek myth that you guys learned about?
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, I don't even know.
Mine, I didn't really do Greek myths until about 4th grade, and we were each assigned a god to research in the class. They were like, hey, pick one, and then you'll like do all your projects on this god, and we'll create the Pantheon as a class. And I was like, that's
we did that.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can't remember which god was mine.
It was like the whole semester. Who were you?
I was Athena.
I was Hephaestus. I loved being Hephaestus. Hey, he's the best. Hephaestus is so cool. Don't laugh at him.
No, but I got to be Athena.
So she's also great.
Yeah, okay, continue. You were saying.
No, but I think the myth of Hephaestus being tossed off the mountain was definitely my first myth. I still have the image in my head of him like bounding down the mountain and then, oh God, Dad, why are you gonna throw me down a mountain?
Yeah.
Falling his way back up.
I think my first one was Pandora's box, and I don't remember what context it was in, but it was something my early Australian education that we were discussing Pandora's box in
Somebody
relation
opened Pandora's
to something.
box, and then everything dangerous in Australia crawled out.
Yes,
and
all of the
gone back
spiders and the
since.
snakes. What about you? What was your first?
That's a good question, because I ended up reading a lot on that when I was a kid. Like, I think it was Hercules, because actually I was a big fan of the Kevin Sorbo series when I was a little girl.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Good.
That's how I got introduced to everything. Was I used to watch Hercules and Xenon Warrior Princess when I was like 6, 7 years old. I used to wake up like early, like 6 o'clock in the morning to watch the shows.
It's so much easier to do that when you're little, though. I think kids have an early alarm clock in them.
I know. Yeah, it's I'm guilty of being a night owl.
Me too. Good time, right?
Yeah, usually in Tumblr. Okay, here's something. What was the funniest thing to occur behind the scenes on any of your shows?
Oh my God, what a question.
Oh no, I don't know.
The funniest thing on any of them.
On any of them, like your favorite that just sticks out in your mind and you just can't help but giggle.
Oh my God, that's
really hard.
That is really hard. I'm trying to think of like the most spectacular fuck up. I can think of like a couple, but it's always people messing things up, which is great. So there's like this one time that we always call back to in Jules and Monty, where lovely, sweet, beautiful Emma got up early and she went out and got coffee and she was bringing it back for Evie and she made it all the way to like the landing where their door was just 10 steps away. She dumps it all over the stairs and herself. She arrives at the door, looks at Evie and goes, I have failed you. And Evie's like, okay. But it wasn't. It was amazing.
She didn't get it on herself because coffee or any hot beverage would be super hot.
Oh yeah. No, I think it just mostly got on her clothes, not so much like on her. So that was good.
That was early on too. That was before we were super close.
So funny. You know what? Okay, no, this always gets me. It was during Jules and Monty. It was when. What?
Just tell your story.
No, you tell me. Okay, it was when we locked Emma out in the hallway, and this is on one of the vlogs. She made a show by drawing little faces on her hands, making them talk to each other. But halfway through, Cole walks out. And like, what are you doing? She's like, I got bored in the hall, and she's just playing with her little hand puppets. And it's the sweetest, it's the most beautiful Emma thing ever. Well, she will make fun out of nothing, and I love it. And that moment, that one might be my favorite. That one always makes me go, and the fact that it's on camera makes it even better.
I struggle with it because I think so many of the good moments are already on the vlog, and then the others I don't remember as well because we spend hours shooting.
That's why we have the vlog. Oh, but what about Stand By Me? Or Lean On. Somebody to lean on.
During the shooting of Hera, during the shooting of Hera, we started singing "Lean on Me."
Oh my God.
And it's a whole bunch of theater kids, right? So we were shooting, and someone was taking forever to change the focus or something. And everybody ended up harmonizing the whole song "Lean on Me" while we were just sitting there waiting for the focus to be set. That was good. I think one of my favorite, the funniest moment. I always think of it and giggle. Hey.
It's still good. It's too late.
It's a bit too late, but you can check with house management and see if they'll let you.
Okay, thanks.
No worries.
We're in a box office.
I work in a box office. That's where we are right now.
Hey, no worries.
Yeah, I think so. One of the funny moments I remember is during the filming of the last episode of Jules and Monty. There was a bit when Ty and Nancy are in bed together.
Oh yeah, I remember
that. And they had to like go at it under the blankets, and Ben Taylor, who was our DP that day.
Ben.
So I need you to, Ben. I need you guys to be like really loud, because I'm shooting from outside the door and I'm gonna enter. So it's got to be like really loud. And so the two of them go action, and the two of them just start making these horrendous noises. And
like no human should make these noises doing anything.
And Ben like does the take, and it doesn't even make it into the room because he ends up cracking up. And later admits to them, "Oh no, I didn't really need that. I was just gonna do it in post anyway."
Yeah, he wanted to mess with it. Great.
That was one of my favorite times. Oh wait, Jack, our DP and our sound up fell asleep during a take. That was pretty funny.
Oh, that was hilarious because we were rolling. It's like action, and then the scene starts going on. And Ben, who played Jack, just goes, "I'm sorry, does anybody else hear that?" And we just turn around and Orlando is asleep, snoring. And God damn it, Orlando.
He's like holding the camera and snoring.
He pressed play or record on the tripod and just go on. We had some early days for that, so that might be.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. I mean, we'll start at 8 a.m. every Saturday and we'll film until like 4 or 6 p.m. So it's, when you spend that much time together and then you add Sundays on top sometimes, you just get to this point of like everything's fair game, everybody's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, but it's fun.
It's really fun.
Those are just some of ours.
Yeah.
Some of the ones we can think of off the top of our heads, I guess.
No, it's very good examples and everything, and it's just like sounds like with everything, it's like a good chunk of work, but it's like mostly play. Like you get to play a lot of your.
Well, you couldn't do it if it wasn't fun. Like we absolutely love it, and it's something that at least I professionally want to do, and Ed might head that way as well.
Regardless of what I do, I like the experience.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, I'd like to be an actor, but also production is super fun. Either side of the camera I wind up on, I know what it's like to be on the other end, and I think that's invaluable.
Yeah, it's been a really good lesson, but it's also just so much fun. Like there are days when it's incredibly stressful, and like right now in post-production, we're sitting here going, oh my God, we have so much work to do. But it's totally worth it at the end because you collaborate with really interesting individuals and you get to be together in a creative pursuit, which is just so much fun.
Also, it's amazing to, get a cut back of something that you worked on months ago. And you look at it and you're just like, oh my gosh, it's so good.
And other
it's
times you go,
done,
oh no.
But it's so good. And sometimes you're like, oh my God, that needs fixing. And then you fix it. Then you have that moment.
Here's my child. I'm bringing it into the world. Be gentle.
Yeah. And it's funny too, is like as writers, we don't have as much control as you would think, which is something we really, really learned on Wavejacked, because I think Jules and Monty was so simple in the filming of it, and that it's a vlog style, so it could bear to look a little shaky at times. And then when we got to Wavejacked, neither of us had enough technical knowledge to really be very helpful on set, beyond like sound or directing. Ed directed. But it's funny with this one, we're kind of learning what we can control and what we can't control. And it's been a very good lesson.
Yeah.
Because you can't control everything. And at the end of the day, like it's a student group. It's entirely students who work on these projects. So it's going to be what it's going to be. But hopefully everybody gets a good education and has fun doing it.
No, that's really good. And you actually just answered one of my other questions regarding like your favorite bits of like filmmaking and writing and like seeing yourself like going like farther with this, like beyond college.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Ed's gonna act, and I'm actually going back to LA. I'm hoping to write down the line, but I'm starting in network development, and we'll see where that goes. But yeah, hopefully we keep doing this for a while because we love it.
That's the thing. Like, I think there's a lot of different stuff that we've been exposed to through these processes. So I don't want to speak for you, but I want to be an actor. If I wound up doing production or being a writer, I have gotten a taste and I loved it. So I'd be overjoyed to keep up with that.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's really great. All right, and another question. Well, just because web series is like becoming like slowly like there's so many like going on right now, or just like in the past, like becoming so popular. Like, what do you think about that? Like the development of original web series or like the literary adaptations?
Yeah, it's a little overwhelming how many there are. When we started with Jules and Monty, there weren't nearly as many. I think we were right because Lizzie Bennet Diaries hadn't even been out a year yet when we started writing. And I think that was really the catalyst for the literary web series trend. And then since then, it's I think something that a lot of student groups and a lot of like lower budget production companies gravitate towards, because it's kind of a built-in audience, and that people who love these stories are going to want to come and watch these stories. It also, the technical aspect of it doesn't have to be as high because the story is supported mostly by the like familiarity of the characters, which is why we did a literary adaptation, our first one, because it was more of an experiment and a learning curve for us. I think that web series are awesome. I think that it's amazing that there are so many creative people who are now capable of just grabbing a camera, writing a script, and doing it. Like, the wall between professional and amateur is getting thinner every day.
But also, once you get to that professional level, it's really cool. You see stuff like Lizzie Bennet and Frankenstein MD, and all the way up to, I think, Video Game High School is like my go-to example of like a high-budget, high-production web series. And then you can go all the way back down to Kissing in the Rain. Every episode is two people who have a little abridged storyline about kissing in the rain, and it's such a simple premise, and it's so simply shot, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool because they say like with YouTube, anybody and their mom can be a star, but that's true, especially with this kind of style of web series making, because you can do a simpler style if you don't know what you're doing with cameras, or even if you just have a camera, you can do something more complex.
Yeah,
it's
I think
opening up doors.
It breeds experimentation, which is really cool.
Yes.
I think that the industry, in terms of like the television and film industry, has kind of been doing the same thing for a very long time, successfully. But now that there's more competition with streaming, which is my thesis is on streaming, which is why I talk a lot about it. But now that there's more competition, the industry is having to adapt to understand this new audience, mainly driven by millennials who only watch television and content online. Like, no one really needs a television anymore because you can get everything on your computer. And so there's a way in which these series are being viewed alongside things that networks are doing, which is nuts because the budget difference is exponential and the experience difference is crazy. But we're pushing a different sort of format. And like you see the way Netflix is dumping episodes nowadays, like that's something that was created for streaming. Before Netflix, that wasn't done. And I think that there are a lot of cool things that are coming from YouTube and making their way into the larger film and television sphere. So hopefully that continues and it's seen as a more legit platform over time. Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's okay. No, that's a very good answer. And it's just like so unbelievable of like, you know, how we view television, stories, shows, movies today and everything. Like, I still love going to the theater and watching a movie for a couple of hours, just like escaping and like being away from my little world and seeing something that's like bigger than me, bigger than myself, and like and everyone around me, just like I'm like physically there. But like with a web series, it's just like they make you feel a part of it. Like like there's a new intimacy to that. Like you're like, I feel like I'm watching like something private, but then like it's like they're inviting me in, like allowing me to poke their brain a little bit.
Yeah, and I think it does help that a majority of the creative teams behind these projects are younger as well. They're mostly peers, and that makes a huge difference in that it is very personal. Like, there are parts where the line is blurred a little bit, and the vlog style especially lends itself to that. I think Wavejacked is not vlog style at all, and so in many ways it's harder to connect with some of the characters because it's more traditional in the style, whereas Jules and Monty, like, you were up in Ed's and my faces a lot of the time, so either you got used to us or you tuned out, you know?
Like I remember when I remember when it was a couple of days after Jules and Monty first like uploaded their first couple of episodes that I noticed the trailer, and I'm like, oh, I've always been interested into Romeo and Juliet. I wonder what this is about. Like, what's going on here? And I'm like, okay, this is definitely new. Okay, can I have the next episode and such? And with Wavejack, you know, there was that, like, I love listening to the radio. I love listening to old music and everything. And, like, I remember listening to the radio shows where they first had Superman serials. Like, I remember hearing that when I was driving back from Madison with my father, and just like they just like go all out in those, like the sound effects, the different voices and everything. And the reason it was like weekly and such, so their voices can take a break and everything because there's so much material to cover in this short amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something like Wavejack's more condensed in narrative as well. It actually wasn't written in that tiny segmented way. That was something that was instilled in post-production due to a need to create more videos, but it was written almost as a short film. So if you read it through, it's more condensed and a little tighter, I think, than how it ended up on YouTube. Whereas Jules and Monty is longer, but it also, like, 3 days, like, playtime is condensed into 3 months, or expanded into 3 months in our world time.
Yeah.
So it's always adaptation, even writing. Like, it's always a matter of paying attention to the timeline you're weaving and like how much you're expecting the audience to give in each time they come back.
No, I remember that when I did end up like writing fan fiction and message boards. Like, I would write it live, or write a chapter live, and everybody's like, okay, waiting for the next line. What's happening next? And everything. And I'm like, I got them right where I want them.
Yep.
Yep.
It's really exciting. But we're hoping with the dump model with Pantheon University that people can watch it in their own time. Like, I think as we're seniors and this is our last series, we're ready to kind of go out with a bang and figured that controlling the viewing was not necessarily what we wanted to do. We wanted it to be a personal experience for people to watch the story in their own way. So hopefully, as every single episode will be up, some people will watch it all at once, other people will come back to it and span it out. It's really up to you as a viewer how you come to it.
Yeah, like with me and Daredevil over 3 days.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't blame you. I did something very similar. I fell in love with that show really quick.
Oh, that actually, you brought up one of my questions was what show are you currently binge watching or you want to start catching up with?
I blew through the first season so fast, and I haven't been able to start the second season because this week has just been insane. And it's killing me inside because I need to know about the Punisher and Elektra, and I know they're there just waiting for me. So it's
really good, really good.
Nothing but amazing things about the series as it continues. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
We've also been binge watching Survivor.
That is true. No, it's great because that kind of show.
No, I watched the show a few years ago.
But it's got the most insane narrative.
It's so ridiculous.
Because it's a legacy show where it always makes references to itself. It's had this storied history. Like they're just like, oh yeah, we did this challenge like back in season 5, and it's like a big old like. Oh, okay, I thought something was wrong. No, it's like, and they keep bringing back old players, and like they'll talk about old strategies, and they'll equate things to other stuff. But also, you get to watch the characters develop as they're on this island together. You get to sort of be like, oh man, she's the villain, she's gonna betray everybody, or like, oh, that guy's dumb, he's just not a smart player. Why would you do that? And you watch people slowly get eliminated, and you start to root for some of them, and then like, especially as you get to the final 10. You're just so invested in some of these people who are playing a game for money. Yeah. But it's so much fun to watch. So fun. The narrative structure of Survivor is
brilliant.
It's a silly thing to say almost because it shouldn't exist, but it does, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. I've also been watching a lot of Bob's Burgers.
Oh my God.
I love Bob's Burgers. And you can
Bob's
watch
Burgers, yeah. I haven't started that yet. I heard it's really good.
Yeah, it's just so much fun. And you can watch like 4 episodes and it's less than 2 hours and you feel good about it.
And also it's great because what I like about it instead of like Family Guy or even The Simpsons is that you never doubt the family loves each other. Like, you know, they'll insult each other and they'll make fun of each other and they'll just be like, oh my God, what are you doing? But at the end of the day, you're never like, wow, these people are awful. You're always like, oh, they're still a family. And
they love each
other. They put up with each other in a nice, loving way. It's really well done. It's these kind of shows that I just want to watch forever. So keep making it like that, please. Whoever is listening to this, who has control over that.
You okay?
Yeah, I just had a moment.
Okay.
No, the last show, like, I remember, like, laughing so hard at, and I just felt so good right after watching it, was Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Yep.
Yeah, so good. There's a new season coming out soon.
Yep, next month. Actually, this month. What am I talking about?
Oh, my God.
I'm still stuck in March.
Wait, is that coming out soon?
Yeah.
What?
April is a month that I just have not been looking forward to April, and now it is April, and
we'll get through it.
Will we get through April?
No, we're not.
You will. You guys are gonna do great. You guys are gonna do great, and it's the last semester, and if spoiler alert, it might go by a little fast. So just to warn you.
I think we've noticed the rumblings of that at least.
Yeah, we were doing a show that lasted through the last part of first semester and the first part of second semester. And I kept going, okay, once the show's over, I'll be able to focus on work. And then the show finished, and all of a sudden it was April. Like, it feels like it just went like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's part of it.
All right. And here's another question. Which web series would you like to see crossed over to your shows in the TV universe?
I would have loved to see a Nothing Much to Do Jules and Monty crossover.
We talked about it briefly.
We did. We had a funny idea with the girls there to have.
There was a little bit of intertextual referencing. I think that at one point. I think that at one point one of the characters mentioned something about Nancy or a cousin in the States, and we released right before Nothing Much to Do released, and I think at the time we were 2 of the only like Shakespearean series going on.
Yeah, I remember that period.
Yeah, so they reached out to us, and we had a really great chat with them and had a couple of emails back and forth, and I think we always kind of wanted to make something work, especially like my Aussie route to like, yes, work with the New Zealanders.
Also, it was cool because like right when we were releasing, they messaged us and they were like, hey, we're doing a Shakespeare web series too. And we were like, oh my God, there's other people. It's a community now. It's not just us. And so, you know, it was very nice of them to reach out to us, and I love that they did. That is something that I'm really sad we never got around to doing. I kind of wish we had at some point, but you know.
Yeah, their adaptations are so good.
They're really good at what they do. They're very good.
We took very different approaches, and we actually had a lot of ideas about possibly doing like our third one being back to Shakespeare. We tossed around Midsummer actually, and we tossed around Hamlet. Tossed around a multiverse idea, but I think for us it's always been about experimenting and trying new things, and I'm happy that we've done different stuff along the way. Yeah.
No, yeah, I have actually like. I did have like this theory like a few months ago, because there have been like a little crossovers with some web series. Like Jane Eyre was a fan of the Lizzie Bennet Diaries, and Caroline Lee crossed over from the Lizzie Bennet Diaries to Emma Approved with her own storyline. So I'm like, I wonder what other crossovers. Like there would be the supernatural world, like with Peter and Wendy, where fairies exist, or Carmilla with vampires, and Frankenstein with half-human monsters, and then there's the Shakespeare world with Jules and Monty, Nothing Much to Do, and Lovely Little Losers, like that sort of it. And then I'm like,
where Wavejack would fit in that.
Well, it's funny because all of these web series that we do here try to make reference to each other at least.
Like Jules and Monty showing up in High Spirits.
Or in Wavejack, Shakespeare bobblehead popping up all over the place. Or there are a couple of Wavejack cameos in Pantheon University.
Yeah, also the thing for us is that it would be rather easy, I suppose, to do crossover between some of the shows we've done in our own stuff, just because we have the same actors. But what's been really fun for us is having actors try new characters, like like Evie coming back as Hades after already playing Nancy, like
you coming back as Hera,
and you as Ares.
Yeah, we're trying new things.
Yeah,
and that's really fun.
No, hey, we all grow.
Yeah, exactly. Gotta keep growing. Otherwise, you shrink. I don't know.
All right, and I have a few like one serious question, and then I'm gonna have a bunch of questions that are like just like fun and everything.
Neat.
All right, and this one would be, what play have you dreamed about acting in? Any play, like regardless of gender or era, or like nobody remembers that play anymore. Which one would you want to be in?
You know, for me?
Oh, no, I know for me.
Then you have to go, because I don't know what
Okay, mine, without a doubt, dream role and play. I know exactly who I want to be in the play I know I want to do. I want to be the MC from Cabaret.
Ooh.
Without a doubt. Just, I got to see Alan Cumming do it, and it was the most incredible role. He's just magnetic in terms of charisma. And I don't think I would do it like he does it all, which is why I want to try it, because it's such a cool role, and he's like canonized it. So it's like, how do we approach that differently? But also, I think that show is so beautiful, so good.
I don't actually know what mine would be.
What you would do?
Yeah. What have I talked about?
You've mentioned recently wanting to play Juliet.
In an actual
for real, yeah.
I had a couple opportunities in high school to play Juliet, and I kept turning them down for one reason or another. And we do a program where we teach Shakespeare in elementary schools, and it's been really fun because one of the girls that we're working with, she's 13, and she's doing the Gallop Apace You Fire-Footed Steed speech, which is one of my favorite speeches. But I'm watching her talk about cutting him up into little stars and recognizing that though she is closer in age to Juliet than I will ever be at this point, she doesn't understand like the orgasmic subtext behind that, and like nor should she.
Everybody gonna
I'd love to play Juliet in real life because I think that she has much more weight than we often give her. I really, really want to play Imogen and Cymbeline, but that's just kind of like a name thing.
You mentioned Hermione.
Hermione. They're all Shakespeare ones.
You have mentioned Lear.
Cordelia.
Cordelia, thank you.
Yeah, I would just want to play any of Shakespeare's heroines, to be honest. In terms of like other things, we just did Next to Normal, and I got to play Diana, so like that's kind of been a big dream of mine for a while, and it was really amazing. So I don't know whether I don't think I like need to have my head in the clouds right now. Like I'm happy with what I've played, and I'm excited for whatever comes next. Yeah.
Hey, you never know that something like might walk in your direction, and you might get a chance. Like
Anything
I did play a character in Romeo and Juliet in a reading back in high school.
Really?
Everybody liked how I did the nurse.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great.
I love
great
the nurse.
character.
She's such an awesome character. So we do, as part of our like Shakespeare theater group that goes to schools, we actually do an adaptation of Romeo and Juliet.
It's funny because you play Juliet,
I play Juliet,
and Evie plays the nurse, and I play Mercutio. I want something new. I get to wear the ugliest shirt I own and run on stage and go, I'm gonna live forever, and then die.
But our favorite part of it is that every single time we get to the every time, so we cut out most of the kisses because usually elementary and middle school audiences, but you have to keep two. You have to keep the like, that's where the kiss I die one, and you have to keep the poison on the mouth, like happily some poison doth lay, or something like that. And so we have to keep those two kisses in. And it's right at the most climactic scene where Romeo and Juliet are killing themselves. And every time we kiss, the audience goes, "Wah!" We have to like stop for a solid 4 minutes while they scream at us, and then like pick up the action again. And inevitably afterwards we do a question and answer. And the first question always is, did you really kiss?
Or are you dating?
Are you dating? Middle school audiences just love the kissing.
So funny.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
We love it. It's so much fun.
Oh, I remember those days.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and here's a couple of fun questions for you guys. All right. I'm just going to go I'm going to wing some of it. All right, here's something relating to the web series. Jaunty or Doswell?
Doswell.
Ooh.
I'm Doswell.
Yeah, me too.
I thought
me
you
too.
were gonna go for Jaunty.
No.
I do love the Jack and Erica relationship. I think it's so sweet, but I think the Doswell one just builds really well.
I also like the ship name for it.
Yeah, Doswell sounds really
It just sounds better. I think that's honestly why I gravitate towards it, because I can't really pick between the two, so I had to go for the one that I thought sounded better, and I was like, that one's got a better name. I like them both, but like, you win by a hair.
That's a good question.
It's funny too, because like those are some of our best friends, so
Yeah.
it's like who do we pick?
Yeah.
It may sound better. These ones of our best friends or these ones of our best friends.
Oh, that was a funny story on set. When we for Wave Jack, the first thing we filmed was the big end scene in the radio station, and we were there from I think 1 in the morning until 8 in the morning because we had to use the radio station during off hours. And but the best part was the very first day of filming, and Ben, who plays Jack, hadn't really done anything like this before, and neither had Emma, but she'd been around it. And Ed goes, "All right, you're gonna make out here." So Emma, we sit on top of Ben, and Emma just like plants herself on him and goes, "All right, we're doing this."
And I was like, I don't need to direct you anymore.
I will
Let
let
me
you
attend
be.
to something else.
And I was just sitting there with my script supervision notes like this far away from them making out, just going, "Oh my goodness."
Oh my goodness.
Oh my
Oh my
goodness.
goodness.
They're great.
This is
Everybody,
like this hardcore.
Yeah. That's a good question though. That's
that's
funny.
good. Yeah. What about you? Which one are you?
Oh, Lord, no. Well, for a lot of reasons, I will have to go to Doswell because we see so much of their, like, relationship, how it grows from like, you know, this friendship to be like a possibility of something more near the end. It's like the hope of that happening, like after like Shiloh's like figuring out her own stuff. And
it's awesome that you pick up on that, because that was really important to us as writers, because I think so often in scripted content, relationships happen or they don't, but more often in life, they kind of end up in that weird will they, won't they kind of in between state. Like, you can be very into somebody but not be in the right place to be in a relationship. And for Shiloh's own development, it didn't really feel right to make that official. But there is absolutely hope.
Yeah, right now they're probably like they're like still in college, and they're like just like really happy. And Shiloh's like, "Yep, this is the right place."
Yeah, I think it's good now. But she needs time to figure out her own stuff.
Yeah, and she did think she had an imaginary friend for a while.
Yeah, she's also got to figure out the whole Alec thing.
That's a doozy.
Is he imaginary? Is he not? We don't know.
Is he out this world?
Maybe not.
All right. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Cats.
I know.
He hates me for it, too.
No, I don't.
You always give me like a... I know.
No, I love cats. I just like dogs more.
You love dogs.
I
love dogs. You like cats.
I love dogs.
He has a dog and I have cats.
Much. Dogs are the best things on the planet, and no one can tell me otherwise. But cats are great.
Ed's dog has a cameo in Pantheon, so look out for that.
He does. He plays Cerberus. He's a little wiener dog, and he's so silly.
I had a golden retriever for 14, 15 years.
Sweetest dogs.
I know. Every time I come home from college, she would run up to me like from the field. I can hear her like running across our field because I lived on a farm most of my life. It's just like big field, and I can hear her like going across the field, and she like jumps into my arms, and I'm like, Randy, you're getting like mud all over me. And then I just give her a big hug. I miss her every day. Yeah. She passed away a few years ago, and she was like this. She would smile. Like, you would point a camera at her, and she would sit down automatically without me telling her, and she would just like have her tongue out, and she just like, and she's just like, she know I'm taking a picture, and I'm like, you know that, don't you?
You know I'm taking a photo of you right now. Absolutely. Mugging.
But you know, dog and cat lovers can get along.
Sometimes. You just did a cat noise.
She did get along with our cat, our old cat, Noelle. They actually they hated each other in the beginning, but then they ended up like later years before Brandy died and before Noelle disappeared. She died too, and they were cuddling up with each other late at night.
Yeah.
I love that. I love when cats and dogs get along.
Me too.
Yeah. Now we have an old cat named Socks.
Oh, that's a good name for a cat.
Well, yeah, that because of the little white paws.
Yeah.
He's there with my mom and dad.
Molly White Socks, because she had white socks.
Really
She's a black cat with white socks.
Aww.
Yeah. Now I have long
cats.
Yeah, cats are great.
It's just one catch is I'm allergic to them. Deathly allergic.
Oh,
It's rough.
that is rough. I don't know what
20
I do.
minutes with them and my eyes are watering. I can't breathe.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay, if I see a kitty, I want to pet it a little bit, but then I have to wash my hands right afterwards or else I may die.
Sorry, friend of ours.
Who was that?
Tori.
Oh, there it is.
Okay. All right. Waffles or pancakes?
Pancakes.
Pancakes.
Done.
All right. And favorite Shakespeare quote?
Oh, we two alone will sing like birds in the cage.
Oh, yours is good. Mine's stupid.
It's okay. It can be stupid.
Mine is what have we here, a man or a fish? Because I remember reading that in The Tempest, and I was like, that's funny. He's so drunk, he doesn't know. And that stuck with me since I was like in 7th grade.
That's nice.
When I read The Tempest and hated it. And I love that line so much because Shakespeare is so silly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You actually.
Oh,
look at that.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, Shakespeare was like not only a wordsmith, but like a comedian. Like he has like these very like heavy scenarios, but then he like sprinkles it with lightness, like every chance he gets.
Yeah. Well, there's always a B plot that often is the comedic plot, because the stories, as much as they were written for the courts and written for nobility, the largest audience they had were the groundlings, people who would come and pay, just stand and watch, and that always required like a lower brow sense of humor, which is ridiculous. But that's why there's such mixed plot in every I think every comedy has some tragedy, and every tragedy has some comedy.
Gotta be, because without Alfred Hitchcock said it best. If you just did a suspense movie, only suspense, your audience would be exhausted. You have to make them laugh a little bit to break up the tragedy or drama or whatever. Yeah. So, you know, Shakespeare, Alfred Hitchcock. I guess
Shakespeare.
I guess they were pretty okay with what they were doing. I guess they kind of had like a good thing one time, maybe.
Tours at their time.
Well, Hitchcock did a good thing, like did a really good job of making me scared out of my wits that I always squirm every time I see birds.
Yep.
Oh, birds. I'm part of a film class right now, and we've been talking about birds as a representation of female neurosis and sexuality. And it just like, it's a whole new reading when you watch it in terms of like the men trying to calm and control the woman. Just enjoy it.
Yeah. Never thought of it. I took some film classes in college too, so we ended up like going to like the whole like we watch a movie, like we watched Frankenstein, and that was my first time like seeing it in all of its entirety. And it's just like, you know, when they brought up like so many like plot points and everything, I'm like, oh, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, it's always very interesting. Interpretation is in the eye of the beholder. Everybody has a different way of viewing things.
Yep.
Exactly. The critics aren't always right. You know, it's each person's opinion. So even if it's a popular opinion by a certain critic, you're like, okay, I'm just going to have to see this for myself because I could read it a whole different way than that person did.
Yeah. Great.
No, yeah, and especially watching a lot of black and white films as a little girl with my parents, you know, you end up seeing like so much differences from today's media from back then's media. Like a lot of the times I did notice was, you know, how they portray affection. Like they weren't allowed to kiss, like for the longest time. Like they would have to, like, it would be like, I regard this right now, it's like passionate hugs.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you hug somebody, you just like, it's like an alternate way of kissing or like cheek to cheek. Like I noticed that in An Affair to Remember. I saw that recently, and I noticed that they didn't show the first kiss or them like really kissing. Like it's just like a side to their lips or something. Like
yeah, I think it was a 3-second rule or something.
There was a rule in Hollywood, but also before that, even on stage, kissing was taboo. And one of the first shows that had kissing in it was Romeo and Juliet, but for a reason you might not expect, because the people playing Romeo and Juliet were sisters, and since they were women and they were related, it was okay.
Huh.
It was a weird rule, but they made bank taking that show around.
Definitely kissed during Shakespeare's time.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking like 1800s.
Yeah,
where,
so the weird
you know,
thing
it got weird again.
Yeah, the weird thing about cinema too is that there's like pre-code and post-code. There was this like Hollywood code that they put in place that had like standards of morality associated with it during the Depression era. Yeah, some of the very first films and most of like the early silent period are actually very raunchy and like have sex plots in them, and also like never sex on camera, but plots surrounding sex and lots of kissing. And then during the Depression, they figured that the morality was subpar, so they put in all these rules. Like the first couple to ever share a bed on television was the couple in Bewitched, which is crazy to me. It took that long to like reform the code, put in a rating system.
They couldn't say when Lucille Ball got pregnant.
They couldn't say pregnant.
They had to use the word.
I didn't know that.
They had to say she's expecting. They couldn't say pregnant on TV.
It's one of the best episodes to watch.
Oh, it's so
the one
sweet.
where she finds out she's pregnant.
And she finds a way to tell people to get the club.
Yeah, I also like the one where they go to the hospital.
I love it.
Yeah, that show has other problems though.
It's got
it's like pretty racist.
Yeah, like every show, there's like some bits that are like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Your faves are problematic.
Yep. Yeah, back then, obviously, but then there's some things you kind of miss back then, like I'm a hopeless romantic, and just like how they end up like courting somebody. And one of my favorite romantic films, I love, my mother first played this for me, and it's like one of my favorites, and apparently it was the actors' favorites as well, was Waterloo Bridge with Vivian Leigh and Robert Taylor. It's like, you don't really get movies like that, like maybe once in a blue moon like that anymore, though.
True. Very true. Well, Pantheon University definitely won't be anything like that because there's a lot of raunchy sex and people making mistakes. No courting in that.
Yeah.
It's kind of rough. I feel like Zeus and Hera have a bit of courting. In the montages.
Yeah. I think there's a little bit of courting.
Ares and Aphrodite don't.
It goes pretty fast.
All right. Oh no, I was just thinking about that scene from Waterloo Bridge. It's just so cute. I gotta watch that again. Where did that DVD go? I have too many movies.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Is it though?
No.
Yeah, there you go.
No, it isn't. Actually, that's another. What is your favorite movie that like sort of shaped you? I know I'm asking for the moon, Imogen, but what would be one that like?
I really struggle with this question. I am from a film family, so I just have seen way too many movies in my lifetime.
I don't know. Mine always changes, but right now it's Back to the Future. First one. I think the story is told so well, and I think the characters are so good. And if you try to remake the movie today, you could not. There's just something about how perfectly it all came together. It's such a smart film.
Okay, I'm gonna go with my favorite movie of the year, which was Ex Machina. I don't know if you saw Ex Machina, but it's just brilliant. It changed. My favorite movie changes by the hour. It's impossible to nail down, but I really like that one this year.
My movie hasn't changed in like what, 15 years.
What's yours?
Moulin Rouge.
Oh,
nice. I mean that one sticks with you.
That's on the list. Yeah, that makes sense. I love Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, I actually Baz Luhrmann answered one of my questions in an interview for the 10th anniversary telecast on MTV. And when I saw that my Twitter name was on MTV, I was like, what is this, life? No. And he just said my name. He's like, thanks, Shannon, because I said for the awesome bass. And I'm like, I could die happy right now. Do you understand that?
That's awesome.
No, he's like a grand example of like storytelling. Like, even like he plays around with his techniques a lot of the time, and it's just like each story he brings, like, he makes you relate to the characters and like the visuals and everything. Like, even though like The Great Gatsby wasn't my favorite because I never could get into the book. I tried, and I'm like, okay, these people are selfish. Okay, I just got it for the book report. But no, it's just like the costumes and just like the emotions and
the visual splendor of it all. Yeah, he's big on visuals.
It's like if I ever got a chance to be a part of a Baz Luhrmann movie, even though I don't really act, I would, just to be a part of it, and just like, hi, Baz. It's an honor.
Awesome. That would be pretty cool.
Baz Luhrmann.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I actually have to dash off to work pretty soon, but I have time for one more question, if that's cool with you.
No problem. No, I'm just I'm just happy that I got an opportunity to speak to you guys about your projects and everything.
Yeah, thank you for setting this up. This was great.
Yeah, it's been good. I'm glad we finally got it to work.
Yeah, finally.
Yes. No, yeah, it was a little weird around here too. But one more question. That is an excellent question. All right, we're gonna end with a fun one, just like a very weird one.
Love it.
All right. What would be the weapon you would use in the zombie apocalypse?
Best question. I have
so
pored over this, and I have an answer at the ready. It is a very simple answer. It is an aluminum baseball bat.
That was mine.
Really?
Yes.
Fuck yeah, kid.
Also,
never runs out of ammo. Key to Costco.
Oh, the key to Costco.
Yeah,
that's
the only weapon you really need.
If you can just lock yourself into Costco, you'd be fine.
Yeah, like one up north so that it'll get cold real quick. You're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like a Costco in every unpopulated area. With all they have like blankets, they have mattresses, they have food for days.
So many aluminum baseball bats.
You'd probably have to like dump all the perishables eventually. But as long as you lock down the doors, you'd be fine.
And I mean, they got Spam and peanuts. You have all the protein you need. There's water. You'll be fine. So, yeah.
Costco.
Definitely aluminum baseball bat. An aluminum baseball bat and that comes with a Costco.
Costco and baseball bat. That'll work out.
Recipe for
This is
success.
how we're going to survive the zombie
Trust
apocalypse.
us. We've
You'll
thought
have
about
a baseball
this.
bat and I'll have a key to Costco.
Well, that'll do the work. Just either that or a cricket bat.
Yeah. Cricket bat
That works too. I mean, hey.
Flat.
Yeah, but also you can use the edge.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Or yeah, just like right in the head.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ed and Imogen, for talking to me and about your shows. And yeah, your show comes out on all episodes on April 18th.
Yep.
All of them at once.
It'll be a blast.
And then the vlog will roll after that.
Yes.
So there'll be a little bit more to come. But
there you go. Hope you enjoy it. Can't wait to hear what you think.
Yep.
No problem. No, I'll have a little commentary on it or a little post on it on Tumblr. And that, and I also I think there's something Jules and Monty I'm still gonna upload soon.
Yay! We love seeing Jules and Monty things. It's such a lovely blast of the past.
Actually, I should tell you this as long as we're talking. My favorite thing that has ever been generated by anyone. We get GIF sets all the time.
Yeah.
We get some cool stuff. But my favorite one, you actually made. It's
really?
The balcony scene that you transposed over the picture of Imogen and I. You made it like 2 years ago, and I still have it on my desktop because I think it is the coolest thing that anyone's come up with. You took like the text of our episode and you made it into the thing, and I saw it and I was like, oh my god,
the balcony scene.
This is so neat. Yeah, so I have saved that, and I wanted to take this opportunity to thank you for that because I think that was one of the cooler things I've seen. So thank
You're
you so
welcome.
much.
That's one of my favorite posters that I have done in the last few years and that took like a while to listen to the video over and over again with the dialogue. I know this from the play, but then there's this original dialogue and just
we don't make it.
I've read through it. You got it. It's spot on. So thank you for that. That was a cool.
No problem. I'm glad you guys liked it. I'm very happy about that. And I actually did I post that on my website? I did post it on my Tumblr, but I did post something Jules and Monty related poster I did for you guys in on my official website where I have my photographs and my graphic
I don't know. Is there a link to it on your Tumblr?
Not on my Tumblr, but there is one on my Twitter to my website. So
I want to take a look at that. We will check that out.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck with all your photos and everything and your job.
Thank you so much, Shannon. And we'll talk to you soon, one way or another.
Yeah, we'll talk soon. And have fun with your last semester at your school. And thanks for talking to me. It's been a blast.
It's been a blast. Thanks, Shannon. Good night.
Bye.
Good night. Bye.